So there's a blockchain running right now that settles transactions in 10 milliseconds, faster than your monitor refreshes. Vitalik Buterin wrote it a rare personal angel check. Then the team did something no crypto project had ever done, locked 53% of their own token supply, and said, this only unlocks when the network earns it. 6 weeks after launch, that promise is being tested for real, and it starts with a bunny-obsessed MIT researcher. This is MegaETH 101. So where did this come from? Around 2022, Yilong Li was finishing his computer science PhD at Stanford, and his research, literally, was making data centers do useful work in under a millisecond. So when he looks at Ethereum, where a block takes 12 seconds, he sees a systems problem his whole academic life trained him to solve. He teams up with Lei Yang at MIT, who'd written a paper about scaling Bitcoin 10,000 times. These are not marketing guys, yeah. These are the people who write the papers the marketing guys quote. And my favorite detail, Lei walked to a park near MIT every week to feed the rabbits. So when they needed a logo, they drew a lightning-fast bunny. That's why it's rabbits all the way down. The bridge is rabbit hole. The NFTs are the fluffle, the actual word for a group of rabbits. The business side came from Shuyao Kong, who ran global business development at Consensus. She's admitted she almost passed because the name sounded dated. Glad she got over it. June 2024, Dragonfly leads a $20 million seed, and the angels include Vitalik Buterin and Joe Lubin. And Vitalik said why on the record. Creating hyperscalable EVM implementations is a key prerequisite for truly scaling Ethereum. That's about as strong as his endorsements get. So what did they build? MegaETH is an Ethereum layer 2. It runs its own rails but parks security on Ethereum. The headline is 10 millisecond blocks, called mini blocks. About 100 stream out every second, then everything bundles into a normal block for settlement. And here's the part that made me respect these guys. Why is everyone else slower? Physics. Light needs about 65 milliseconds to cross the Pacific and back. So if your chain needs the world to agree before every block, you cannot go faster. Nobody can. MegaETH's answer. One extremely powerful sequencer machine orders everything. 100 CPU cores holding the entire world state in memory. And thousands of small machines verify its work. Your laptop can check the math. They didn't decentralize the writer. They decentralized the fact checkers. And the receipts are real. The final stress test ran 11.4 billion transactions in a week, the largest in EVM history, peaking around 55,000 per second. And the 10 milliseconds isn't a lab number. Look, they run a public dashboard. You can watch it ticking at 10 milliseconds right now. Arbitrum runs about 250. Their own white paper even debunks the usual hype. Fancy compilation only buys about 2x. The real unlock is keeping everything in RAM. I love when a team argues against its own marketing. Now, let's be honest with each other, because this is where trust gets built. First, in January, weeks before mainnet, their pre-deposit bridge launch went sideways. About $400 million of early money. The team called their own execution sloppy, halted everything, and refunded every single depositor. Then shipped mainnet February 9th anyway. That's a character reference, not a scandal. But you deserve to know. Second, the marketing says 100,000 transactions per second. The stress test proved tens of thousands. But organic traffic today is maybe 20 or 30 per second, under 10% of capacity. The engine is a rocket, yeah, but it's idling in the driveway. Third, and this matters, that super-fast sequencer is one machine, run by the team. L2 Beat rates MegaETH Stage 0, the training wheel stage, where you trust the operator while the security matures. Fraud proofs exist, a system called Kailua, but the challenger list is still a short whitelist. And here's the kicker. Vitalik, their own angel investor, said publicly we can't rely solely on centralized sequencers long term. The investor himself is holding their feet to the fire. So, the honest frame. A deliberate trade made in the open, with the decentralization debt printed on the label. Now the part nobody explains properly. The token launch. A genuine first. MegaETH said our token doesn't launch on a date. It launches when the network proves itself. The trigger was 10 apps from their incubator, Mega Mafia, each clearing 100,000 real transactions in 30 days. That hit April 23rd, and Mega went live April 30th on 13 exchanges: Binance, Coinbase, Upbit. And the team paid zero listing fees, on principle. Here's the wild structure. Mega isn't even the gas token. Gas is priced at cost. The chain earns differently. Its native dollar, USDM, holds reserves in BlackRock's tokenized treasury fund, and that yield funds automatic Mega buybacks. And 53% of supply only unlocks through staking rewards tied to performance KPIs, including, I love this, one that rewards making Ethereum itself healthier. Now the transparent part. The first 6 weeks have been rough. The price set its low just yesterday, and value locked came down from a launch peak near 600 million to about 115 million in DeFi today. Critics point at thin fee revenue. They're not wrong about the number, but notice the design doing its job. When usage is early, that 53% stays locked. Nobody gets paid for hype. Delphi Digital just wrote the airdrop era is over and pointed at this exact model as what replaces it. So where does this go? On decentralization, CTO Lei Yang has said two refreshing things. One, if you don't want to reach stage 2 ultimately, you are not ambitious enough. And two, about his own power over the sequencer. I do not want the power, no promised date, on lawyer's advice, but the direction is plain. On the tech side, two Oracle world firsts. Chainlink's only native protocol level data feed integration, and a Redstone Oracle called Bolt, updating every 2.4 milliseconds, right beside the sequencer. That's the plumbing for markets that feel like a centralized exchange, but settle on chain. Lei claims the chain could host 300 polymarket-sized prediction markets right now. And yeah, there's a real AI story, not a fabricated one. AI agents paying each other need exactly this: instant, dirt-cheap block space. Shuyao Kong put it perfectly on Bankless. If you let AI agents go crazy, they burn a lot of tokens. On MegaETH, that's not an issue. There's Nectar AI in the ecosystem, support for the new on-chain agent standard. And literally yesterday, a team called MNX announced $6.4 million to build an AI-powered futures exchange on MegaETH. Meanwhile, Mega Mafia's second cohort is interviewing in New York this very week. The builders haven't gone anywhere. The quiet period is when they do their best work. So here's where I land. The engineering is real and publicly verifiable. The honesty record is rarer than the tech. The open question is simply demand. Want to feel the speed? It's free. There's a poker game called Showdown and a little game called Crossy Fluffle on mainnet. No money needed. And you can watch the chain breathe live at uptime.megaeth.com. Builders, watch the Mega Mafia 2.0 reveal. And if flux staking tempts you, read the 90-day maturity mechanics first. The real takeaway: judge MegaETH by the scoreboard it chose for itself. The KPIs, not the headlines. That's how you treat a project that volunteered to be measured. If you learned something, a like and subscribe genuinely helps this channel keep doing deep, honest research. And tell me in the comments, would you trade some decentralization for 10 millisecond blocks? I read everything. See you in the next one.